Hey, this is Dave at House Barons. Today we're going to take on the task of creating a piece of molding that we need. This piece of molding used to go up here. And prior to this hood being up here, we had a microwave and a cabinet. We took those out, put up the hood, but now we've got to add molding on either side of here to complete the look. The problem is my piece of molding that came out of here is not big enough for both sides. And I'm only going to be a few inches short. My options are to create my own molding out of a piece of wood and buying 2 router bits to cut this exact feature into the wood. Those router bits are pretty expensive. My other option was to try to find it in the store, but this is pretty unique. There's not one that's exactly like this that I could find. I could also try to go to a company, give them this piece of wood and have them cut it out. Again, a little more on the expensive side, but it would be a workaround. But what I'm going to try to do is take an impression of this molding and then form new molding. Let's go see how that works. All right, so I got both sides cut and this side right there, and you can see I'm only about 2 inches short. Even an inch and a half. So I don't need to make a lot, but I still need a little extra length. All right, so I got some Bondo glass, short strand fiberglass filler. The reason I have this is because it's been in my garage for a million years, and I'm like, let's use it up. So we're gonna try and see if it's any good. The other thing I did was, here's my piece of molding, and I put a piece of plastic wrap, saran wrap, whatever, over it. Before I blade it over it though, I put water on the wood, and it makes it kind of stick to the wood, so it won't blow away, but I'm trying to get it to adhere to all the little grooves. And so I've done that. So what we're going to do is lay this in the Bondo to get that mold impression. First, let's see if this stuff is any good or not. I'm doing this outside because it is very smelly stuff. Not good to have indoors. Here's a little tube of hardener that it came with. This whole tube is for that can. So quarter tube for quarter can. Yeah, well, that's gonna be tough to measure, so we'll just do about so much. This is the hardener. I'm not exactly measuring carefully here. My whole goal is just to get this to harden up and hold the impression. The reason I'm using Bondo too for the mold is that it hardens fast. Okay, I'm gonna pull this plastic over it. Squeeze out the air. I'm just going to press this in there. And I got the saran wrap on there because I want to unpeel that, pull the wood out, and then hopefully the saran will come out after that. All right, so we're just going to let that sit there for a while. So it's been a few minutes. You can see that's pretty hard. So let's see if we can pop this out. Peel back the plastic here. Take our board out. All right. And that's our mold. And I think I'm just going to keep that plastic in there because we'll use that to hold the next piece in. All right, to actually make this piece in the mold is Bondo, but the piece that we want to make, we're going to use Minwax wood filler. It's basically very similar stuff, but it doesn't have the fiberglass strands in it like the Bondo does. I don't want to be sanding that. Fiberglass is no fun. Ultimately, I'll have to sand this and shape it and cut it. So I want to do without the fiberglass in the air. It's amazing how hard that is. Just like that, this stuff right here, we're gonna scoop it out. We'll add the hardener. Put it in our mold. Again, we're laying it in the plastic. And so hopefully that'll just break loose when it's all said and done. Fill it to the edges. And like I said before, I only need about 1.5 inches of this, so if I make it twice as long, I can mess one up and still have another one, another length to do the job. So this is going to give us as much as we might need or more. So let's just let that cure. Come back in 20 minutes and see what we got. All right, pretty solid. So let's see if we can pull this out now. All right. Yeah, it's got some air bubbles and stuff in it. That's no big deal. As long as it's got the general shape, we can work from there. So I think we're in a pretty good spot. We'll let it cure and then we'll cut it up. All right, so here's the difference that we have to make up. This is the correct size piece. This is the piece that's short. So we only have just this little bit. And so our piece here that we want to add on to it, I'm just going to go ahead and trim this edge up, get a little bit straighter, and so I can make a closer connection when we get ready to add these together. All right, so that's good. It's actually really good. So now I really only need that piece right there. So that's my leftover in case I mess something up. But that right there is going to do nicely. So now to put these together, I'm going to flip these. This needs to go like, that's going to go like that to create our extra. And so I want to flip them into the old mold, like so. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a screw into here, into this piece of wood, lay it on top of this here to connect the two. All right, so I'm just putting a machine screw in here. I need something that was long and skinny. Pre-drilled the hole, so I'm not fighting the hardwood here. There we go. Okay, all I need to do now is go ahead and add wood filler, a little bit on here, and then I'm going to make it go over on top of the screw and just kind of hold all that together. Just need a little bit of a mound. This section here doesn't actually touch the cabinet, so I'm in pretty good shape there if it builds up a little bit. So now, just go ahead and add this onto here. And what I want to make sure I do is just get good contact with everything. It's not like I'm going to need a lot. It should hold pretty well. Okay. All right. So there we go. And they're pretty stout. It's actually a pretty good marriage right there. And first we want to go ahead and trim up these sides. Got a pretty nice connection there. The back's trimmed up. So now we're just going to go ahead and sand it. It's hard to probably tell from your vantage point, but that is so unbelievably smooth. Right, so that I've got a little bit of a groove there. Just like I can feel it with my fingers. So I'm going to hit that with a little more wood putty, a little more wood filler, sand it, and we should be good to go. All right, last thing to do is to finish the painting. We puttied the holes, now we're going to touch up the paint and it'll be back to the longboard that we needed. Hope this video helps. If you got anything out of it, give us a thumbs up. We appreciate it. Don't forget to subscribe. We've got lots more videos coming. Thanks a lot for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.